Welcome home, neighbors.
Welcome home, neighbors.
Hello, neighbors.
We're listening from
Arizona,
Florida,
Maryland, New York, New Jersey,
Indianapolis,
California,
Utah,
Michigan.
Iowa,
Massachusetts,
Georgia,
Canada,
Our home resort is
Animal Kingdom,
Polynesian,
Bay Lake Town,
Old Key West,
Riviera,
Boardwalk,
Alani Resort,
Hilton Head,
Boulder Ridge, Copper Creek,
Grand Floridian,
Saratoga Springs,
Beach Club,
and Wilderness Lodge.
and you're listening to
and you're listening
You're listening to my
Well, welcome home, everybody, to episode 10 of the Community Hall podcast. My name is Chad. I am your host tonight for the Mighty BC Points Community Hall live podcast. And I would like to welcome to the show tonight our producer, who is also a Copper Creek owner as well, Gina.
Hi.
Hey, Gina, how you doing tonight?
Great. I'm so excited to talk about my favorite place, Wilderness Lodge.
I'm telling you, I'm geeked because you guys realize now I just checked out of Wilderness Lodge on Friday. So I am like 2 days out of wilderness withdrawal. So I kind of needed this show. Okay?
Definitely.
And I'm going to welcome to the show as well another Copper Creek owner. Let's welcome in Holly Austin. So,
hi, everyone.
Hey, Holly, how are you today?
Good. How's it going, Chad?
I am doing pretty good. I cannot complain. I mean, I'm going through a little bit of the Disney blues, okay? But I had this Copper Creek show to prepare for and all of you guys in the community to help get me through this.
I hear
And
you. I'm
then-
excited, too, to talk about Copper Creek tonight.
Yeah, and it's probably, 5-6 weeks until my next trip home. So I'm pretty excited about that. And then I want to, well, you know what? I'll let you welcome to the show, Gina.
This is my friend, my travel companion, and this is Shannon. So let's add her.
Hey, welcome to the show, Shannon.
Hi. I'm excited to be here tonight.
Yeah, now you ladies travel together. Like Vicky is normally with you guys as well. So you're a little traveling trio. And
Yeah, it works.
okay.
Yeah.
Now I know I have stayed in both sides, Copper Creek, Boulder Ridge. Gina, Shannon, Holly, have you guys stayed both sides?
Yes.
Yes.
I have not stayed Boulder Ridge yet, just the Copper Creek side.
Okay. So but you've at least meandered over there, I hope.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Well, in today's show, we're continuing our summer resort series in the Resort Versus. Okay. And DVC has this really unique situation here at Wilderness Lodge where you got two DVC resorts or properties at the same physical resort. And these things are located, what do you think, 20, 30 feet away from each other?
Right next door.
Easily.
Right.
Like they are closer together than two Saratoga buildings. Okay.
Yeah.
Like they are like that stinking close to each other, and they all share the same pools. They share the same resort amenities. They share the same staff for both. Okay. So you're really talking about the difference between these two will come down to the rooms. So what we wanted to do tonight was we wanted to go through and do our Wilderness Lodge review, which, fair warning alert, 3 out of 4 of us are DVC owners at Copper Creek, and we're still holding out hope for Shannon here. Okay. No pressure, Shannon. No pressure. Okay. But we'll convert you and bring you over to the light side sooner or later. Okay. I mean, you can't be hanging out with DVC members. You're even a Patreon of our show, for crying out loud. So
It's true.
like, yeah. So we'll get you to come over
I'll
sooner
get
or later.
there. I will someday.
Yeah, we will. So
Not there yet.
okay. And let's just come back in and say hi to a few people that's here, because we're not doing our traditional pre-show countdown this week because it is a resort series and these tend to go a little bit long. So we're cutting a little bit out of our normal format here. So our buddy David says, good evening to everybody. And Justin says he's loving the resort series.
Great.
Yeah, we're having a lot of fun doing these. And Patricia's tuning in. She's another Copper Creek owner, and she has also stayed at Boulder Ridge as well. So welcome here. And Vicky is tuning in. We should have brought her on from the trio as well, because I feel like we only got 2/3 of the trio here.
She hasn't stayed at Copper Creek, though.
Oh, she's only done Boulder Ridge. So, well, we would have taken her. Okay. She could have balanced out Holly, right?
Yeah.
So
There you
She's
go.
an owner at Saratoga. This is not her. This is not her jam. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, well, there's no shame in being a Saratoga owner, right? Those points work here too. Okay. Right. She actually even has a little better dues than we have.
She
Okay.
does, she does.
And our buddy David's tuning in and he says he loves Copper Creek at Christmas. And Scott's tuning in, which is a Copper Creek owner, and Grant's a Copper Creek owner.
Hi, Copper Creek people.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And Mike is a Copper Creek. This is like the Copper Creek Lovin' Show. Okay.
I love it.
So Sam says, hi, everybody. And Jumbo, he must be an Animal Kingdom owner, but that's okay. They shared the same architect at Wilderness Lodge and over there at Animal Kingdom. And welcome, Mark. You're just now getting started with us.
You're not late.
Elizabeth says she stayed at Boulder Ridge last fall. Loved the resort rooms, but the resorts needed an update. And they were supposed to start an update this year, at the end of this year or next year. It might have gotten postponed to COVID, but this was supposed to be a hard refurb. So maybe this year at the December owners meeting, we'll get an update on that. Maybe some samples for what they're looking at doing over at Boulder Ridge, because those rooms are a little tired. And I think if they do as good a job on them as they've done over at Saratoga, this debate's going to get even livelier than it already is. Okay. And Enrico wants to give a shout out to his wife, Melinda. I love you and can't wait to go back. That is awesome.
That's sweet.
Yep. And then Mark Koppel is saying Copper Creek family rules. And yes, this is true. We do. Okay. Scott's staying in a cabin for his birthday. And
Lucky.
yes. We'll hear more about that later. And Dorothy's tuning in. We have just called out the Copper Creek Force tonight. Right?
We're coming out in droves.
Yes.
John said he just bought Copper Creek waiting for his points to load because it was an excellent resale deal. And that it was, John. That it truly was, because you can still stay at all 14 resorts if you buy Copper Creek resale.
Perfect.
And then, now we're all like really jealous here because Jake is checking into a Copper Creek cabin on Sunday for a week. Woo! Nice points, man. Nice points. And Linda says we stayed at Wilderness Lodge 15 years ago when the DVC property was called the Villas at Wilderness Lodge. We're headed to Boulder Ridge next week, and anything new we should know. Yes, there's all kinds of great information and updates. When they built the Copper Creek add-on, they completely kicked this resort up a few notches, in my opinion. And since 15 years, they've rebuilt the pool over there on the Boulder Ridge side, and it's now 0 entry. We'll get into all of that a little bit later on. And then Ashley says she's staying at 6 nights at a Copper Creek cabin next month. She can't wait.
Oh, great.
Oh, we are like in good company.
Yeah.
And so all of you people who are staying in the cabins, you need to reach out to me because I need to do a review show just on the cabins. Okay. And matter of fact, maybe I'll even talk to them and see if they'll let us into the cabin to do a show from them. I'll ask.
I'll sign up.
Yeah. I'll ask. That would be really awesome if we could just come in there and steal a little Wi-Fi and do a show from them.
Yeah,
they'll probably say no, but it doesn't mean I'm not going to ask.
It
right?
doesn't hurt. Exactly.
And one of these days I'll have to do one from there using my own points where they can't say no. Okay.
Exactly.
So anyways, tonight we wanted to go over the entire resort here because they do share, both sides share everything. Okay. And the difference really comes down to which room you're staying in. You got some different booking rooms and options at the end. And then it comes down to length of contract and annual dues and what you're paying for a contract.
Right.
So at the very end of the show, we'll bring up our interactive live poll and say, if you had to pick one of the 2 resorts to book, which would you pick? Because that'll be your really only option tonight here as well. We can't really debate on who's got the best pool because they're the exact same pool. Okay. And I mean, location is within 20 feet of each other. So that's not much of a debate either, because you could get a room that's ideally located or poorly located in either particular instance. Okay. So that one's kind of off the table. And the only thing is here is which would you book and which would you stay at? And for me, for me at the 7-month mark, if I'm out of Copper Creek points, it's whichever one's available. Okay. So spoiler alert on that one, but I definitely do have some preferences and we'll get to that a little bit later in the show. Okay.
All right.
And
so here's where we're going to start.
yeah. So let's talk about the restaurants here. Gina, what's your favorite restaurant out there in all of Wilderness Lodge?
Well, my favorite restaurant is got to be Artist Point. I've been now twice for the character dining, and I am not a huge Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs fan, but I loved the whole experience. It was so great. And I was there on my birthday, so it was extra special.
Ooh.
So Artist Point is definitely my favorite.
Okay.
But that's not saying that I don't love Whispering Canyon and I don't love Roaring Fork. Anyway.
Yeah. So anyways, well, you picked Artist Point. So go ahead and kick us off. Tell us all that we need to know about Artist Point in a nutshell.
All right. So Artist Point is a character dining experience. It's also you order as a family, but you get your own entree. So the appetizers are everybody gets the same appetizer. Then you get your own entree, and then everyone has the same choice of desserts. And the way they come is just really cute in a storybook format, and it's just so cute. And I love the way it's all set up. And then the characters, it's I believe it's Dopey and Grumpy come around, and Snow White comes around, and then you have to be invited to meet the Evil Queen.
Yes, because she is. You just cannot approach the Evil Queen.
You need to be invited.
She will be quite evil to you, and the other characters are okay. I dig them. The dwarfs are cool. Snow White's cool, but Evil Queen rules the show. Okay, and it is worth going there for the Evil Queen. Now, did any of you guys or anybody watching get to visit Artist Point before it converted to character?
I didn't go there. No.
Okay, because to me, it was a little hidden gem, and it was a little too hidden because it was empty every time you went in there. But they had some of the most awesome mushroom soup that you've ever had, mushroom bisque soup, and I think it's still there. I think they didn't take that off. I think that's still available.
The mushroom soup was part of the appetizer.
Yes.
I know the first time we went, there was like a squash bisque and the appetizer, and then the second time there was a mushroom soup, and it was amazing. It was really good.
Yeah, so that was really good. Now the food there at Artist Point, I'll be honest with you, I think it kind of took a downgrade from the signature dining, okay? Because I wasn't a fan of this fixed pre-menu, and I will tell you right now, when you go there to meet the Evil Queen, and the food is just food, okay? It's like really fancy and really bizarre, but it's presented beautifully, okay? So it's got a beautiful presentation to it, but there wasn't anything there that made me go, wow, okay?
I'm with you on that, Chad. I mean, Snow White's my girl. She's always been my favorite. So the whole fact that it's all centered around that, and then the beautiful artwork they have before you even go up to the restaurant, I end up buying stuff every time I leave there. That's another story. But the food for me is just okay. I love the presentation. I love the entertainment value of it. I liked Whispering Canyon's breakfast better if I'm picking food, but Artist Point, I mean, you can't go wrong with the Queen.
Yeah, and there's something to be said about the whole environment in Artist Point. You know, they put the trees and the leaves all over, and then the serving platter for the appetizer are little leaves. So you just feel like you're in the forest.
It is a show beyond a show. Like, I'm telling you, it is worth going. You just have to go knowing the food is meh. And if you have that expectation, the characters and the decor will blow you away and you'll have a great experience. So that's kind of my take on Artist Point. I see a lot of bobbing heads here.
Yes.
Saying yes, yes, yes. And then Sam is with me here. He goes, the old Artist Point was the bomb. Very good. Mike makes the comment here. We love Artist Point. The pork shank is so good. And then David was saying the Evil Queen is spit on, and then he corrected it to spot on. Okay,
might spit on you.
Hopefully not. And last I checked, the restaurant was closed due to COVID. Okay, because characters in masks and taking the photos with them, and it's just it's not so hot, right?
No, it wasn't open when we were there in July, so.
But I am looking forward to that coming back. Okay. And so somebody mentioned that Shannon, I think you said you like the breakfast at Whispering Canyon Cafe.
I did I'm a big breakfast person. I know a lot of people I go with don't eat breakfast, but I mean, they just had great options for me there. The beef,
I love me a good
waffles,
Disney breakfast.
everything.
I'm not going to lie. Okay. I'm generally not a breakfast person, but You throw me some Mickey waffles and some eggs
I'm
and some
telling
bacon.
you.
It's all over, man. Like I'll get up for that breakfast. Okay.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Now, this last trip, I think Thursday night, I had dinner at Whispering Canyon Cafe. And I think due to COVID, they've got 3 or 4 new skillets that are out there, as opposed to the big O family meal where you just got everything. They bring you your own individual, all you care to enjoy skillet. Okay. But you could order one that was more pork based. You could order one that was more barbecue based. And I know there was a surf and turf one that had salmon and something else in it that it was like chicken. Okay. It was like salmon and chicken, and it just didn't quite look right to me. Okay. So I went with the traditional one so that I could get the brisket, and Aaron Del Prince met me for dinner. He lives there now, and Aaron's a frequent guest on the show as well. So he had the pork one, and then we tried piggy wings. And he told me, he was like, Chad, when you talk about this Sunday, you got to bring up the piggy wings and that you learned something. Okay. And the piggy wings are kind of like a chicken wing. They're like a little bone niblet deal. It's about chicken wing shape with a little bone in it. And it's pork. Okay. So they said mustard based on them. I'm not a big mustard fan, but I really didn't taste a lot of mustard on it at all. So it was still legit. It was still pretty good. Okay.
We also did Whispering Canyon for dinner on our last trip. And as a family with young children, I appreciate the environment of Whispering Canyon because it's already loud and you don't have to feel bad if your children are loud. It's supposed to be that way, and it's fun, and there are a lot of options. Everything is family style, so you don't have to get up and go to a buffet, and lots of choices for the kids to choose from.
Oh yeah, and it's got that kitsch factor too to it as well.
Totally kitschy.
Right? Where, you drop your fork, can somebody bring me a fork, and they bring out the big one, or you ask for ketchup. I didn't ask for ketchup this time, but our waitress was like, trying to throw it out there for us, and I don't know. I was
not going.
I didn't eat lunch that day, and so we had like a 5 o'clock dinner, which is early for me, and I just wasn't in the mood for it. Like I was like, I'm hungry. But they had the food out there like that, which is tradition. It's pretty quick for barbecue because they do have to prepare it all in advance. And then it's just, pull it out of the warming drawers and serve. Okay. But yeah, I love Whispering Canyon Cafe. And I didn't notice the pony rides this time.
Yeah, probably not. We did the kids loved those last time, but that I think is a pre-COVID thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully the ponies are coming back. And for those of you who don't know, if you go there about every hour or so, they give you these little like broom pony heads, and you put them between your legs, and they play like a rodeo song, and you gallop and ride around the ponies all the way around the restaurant. So a ton of fun, and adults can do it too. I'm known to participate in that activity. So I'm not too proud to say that I enjoy a good pony ride at Whispering Canyon Cafe. And that's probably my favorite kind of ponies to ride, because I don't fall off of those. Okay. And then, so I have not had their lunch there in a long time, but I think it's pretty similar to the dinner menu, is it not?
I think so.
I haven't had lunch either.
Yeah. And yeah. So, okay. And Holly's husband, Dan, is tuning in tonight, and he says for only 1 table service credit, though, it's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure if that comment was directed towards Artist Point.
I think so, because we've always used the dining plan pre-COVID, and we would go to Artist Point with the dining plan because it was 1 credit, it was a character dining. You didn't have to get up and go to a buffet. Everything was brought right to you. So we thought it was a good value for 1 credit meal. But
it was. I'm going to make the case that Whispering Canyon at dinner was a great value as well.
Yes, I agree.
Because my skillet and one, I think I had a blood orange margarita that night, was $60.
Yep.
And I'm like, that would have been 1 table service credit with the drink.
Mm-hmm.
So that would have been a pretty smoking good deal.
Yes.
For one.
I got the nachos for dinner. I was not hungry that night that we went to Whispering Canyon for dinner, and I ended up just eating the meat out of them. I didn't really care for the chips and the cheese, but the meat was really good. So if you're going for meat and you're not that hungry.
Yeah, I mean, you have to go to a barbecue joint knowing that you're going to get, really good meat. Okay. Now they did have a vegetarian platter there as well. Okay. Or
Plant-based.
Maybe vegetarian's not the right word. Maybe it's plant-based.
Plant-based.
Okay. Is probably the better word to describe it, because it's like they had the plant-based created meat.
Yeah.
Okay. Or meat substitutes that were plant-based. So either way, I think it's a great value for one table service credit. And Dan was saying that Noah got to ring the dinner bell when we went.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
And they also have the big table of Lincoln Logs that the kids could play with pre-COVID, obviously not now. But I mean, it was just such a fun place.
yeah, it really is. We can't say enough great things about either one, right? So I'm not gonna lie. I would argue that the meals here are second only to Polly. Okay. If I were to come back in and start to rank DVC stuff, now I'm not a huge Animal Kingdom fan for their food. Sanaa is awesome. Okay.
Bread.
Pico is really good. Okay. But I've got consistent home runs all the way across the board here. Okay. And Grant was saying that the cornbread was great
Oh
too.
yeah, that was.
It is.
That it was. That it's a northern based like Johnny Cake level of sweet cornbread.
Mhm.
Okay.
Good. Yeah.
So those of us with true southern roots would come back in and we'd get this sugar out of our cornbread. Okay. But it was really, really good. And the butter was served at room temperature and it was easy to spread. Yeah, which I really, really, really liked. Okay.
Me too.
I think we've covered those. So let's just move downstairs then. And we'll go under Artist Point to Roaring Fork. And I'm not going to lie, pre-COVID, this was one of my top 2 quick service locations.
Mhm.
Okay. And there's one dish there that they now serve 24, like open to close. And it's the chicken fingers with Mickey waffles. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And it comes with an almond cinnamon butter that is
Oh my
just
gosh,
to die
so
for.
good.
Okay. Cause you throw the chicken, you get the crunch of the chicken fingers and then the fried part of that with the Mickey waffles, and you douse it all in syrup and that butter. And oh my goodness, like it is like my favorite single item breakfast thing there at Disney. Okay. Now I will say during COVID, it was a little jacked up because I hate eating out of the cardboard boxes.
Mm.
And then the other part of it was they took the almond butter and they made the little ramekins with the plastic lids on it.
Mhm.
And they pre-made a bunch of those up and then threw them in the fridge.
Oh, so they're
Oh.
hard when you got
So it was really hard. It wasn't
Yeah.
like the old days where it was soft and you could just get it and spread it right on there and then hit it with the syrup too. And then, the warm syrup, it would kind of like melt the butter, and then the syrup and the butter would like twirl together like that awesomeness stuff. So yeah, I could go on, but
I like the s'mores cupcake there. That's what I get whenever time I go to Roaring Fork. They have that s'mores cupcake. The
I
kids-
Oh.
felt like I needed to try the bear claw being at Wilderness Lodge, Humphrey the bear. The bear claw was
yes.
pretty legit. It was really good.
Yes. And so Patricia is backing me up here. She says she just got back a week ago and the chicken and waffles were my grandson's
Mhm.
favorite. And yeah, they are pretty delish. Okay. Now I've heard mixed reviews as well on the breakfast pizza that was normally on the menu, where they take the same flatbed pizza and they put eggs and sausage and green peppers and the stuff you'd put into an omelet, and they just put it on the pizza and bake it. I thought that was really, really, really good as well. But I've heard some mixed comments on that one there. And it's not on the menu in COVID right now. So, there's a bunch of the things just got stripped off the mobile
Right.
order menu for COVID. Okay. And then that's where you've got a mug refill down there in the basement as
Mhm.
well. If you're doing dining plan, or you buy the refillable mug. So what else are we missing here on Roaring Fork?
I don't know. That's all. I only get the desserts there. I get the desserts.
Same, because
Yeah.
we go to another quick service on property for all of our meals.
You said you normally go to another one?
Yeah, we go to Geyser Point.
That's
Oh.
under bars and lounges. We're not there yet.
Well, we were rounding the corner to it. Okay.
Kids, I
Right.
don't think of bars and lounges.
Got it. So but Mark was saying that he does a chili cook-off for about 300 people every year. And he goes, they have really good chili at Roaring Fork as well.
Okay.
So that is true, Mark, as well. I've had their chili. It is pretty delish as well. Like I say, this ranks as normally one of my top favorite quick services of all time. And then there's like a marketplace in there as well with like grab and go items.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay, with sandwiches and all kinds of beverages and beer and wine and snack bags and desserts. And so if you don't have time to wait for something to be prepared, it's still pretty quick to pop in there and grab something and then head on out to the boat to go to Magic Kingdom. Okay. Because it is right down there by that part of it.
Yeah.
But before we go there, I don't think I've walked into Territory Lounge, but when it came time to like come back in and have a drink or so, I'm like, forget it. You can't hang with Geyser Point. Okay. Geyser Point's like my number 2 bar on the planet, and it just got knocked down by Oga's. Okay. It took a fuzzy tauntaun, something from outer space. It's not even safe for humans to consume
Right, you had
to beat Geyser Point.
Right.
That's what it took. They had to import it from a galaxy far, far away.
So this is what I like about Territory Lounge. If you're going to Artist Point, you're there early. The best thing to do is pop in there, grab your cocktail there. They take tables. So you get the little discount on your cocktail and you bring it in to Artist Point. So that's our little hack for Territory Lounge.
Got it.
Maybe
Okay.
that cute little Mickey head martini. That
They have a welcome home. Oh, we
So
lost Holly.
cute.
They
Oh,
have a welcome home. Yeah, they have a welcome home martini.
super cute.
So
Got it. And
And it was good.
that's all I have.
yeah, it's good. It's really accessible. It's right there at the lobby. It's like right between Artist Point and Whispering Canyon. And so you can't really miss it. And I'm glad you're back, Holly, because
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
it's a live show. We get gremlins all the time.
Things happen.
Okay.
Things happen.
Yeah. And our audience is pretty forgiving. They realize that it's live and we're having this conversation.
Yeah.
So that pretty much wraps up Territory Lounge. And now we have to go downstairs to Geyser Point,
There you
which is, the
number
mecca of all meccas for so many people come back in and say it's their favorite place to hang out, relax, and have a drink or a dessert. And I could see having all of the above there.
Mhm.
You've got a quick service walk-up restaurant when we're not during COVID. Okay. Right now, I don't believe you can order from that quick service there,
It was
but you
closed.
can order from the bar on mobile ordering, or you can at least order from the bar. I'm not sure about the mobile ordering part, but you can order the food through the bar and get to the entire menu at the little quick service.
Mhm.
And so from the quick service side, I think the most notable thing on the menu there is the buffalo burger, which is just to die for. Okay.
So good.
Yeah.
That was so good. Yeah.
And then it's the other thing I know there is it's one of 2 places on property where you can get waffle fries. Okay. So if you're the spiced waffle fry kind of a person, you can get it there as well. And so anything else notable on the menu there? I know there's some really good drinks that are on the menu. I've tried them all this week.
Nice. Yeah. I think I had edamame and I had the bison burger. Those were the 2 that I got when I was there last.
Yeah, I think we tried many of the sandwiches. Kind of a sleeper hit on our family was the crispy chicken sandwich.
Ooh.
Dan just got it because we had tried a lot of the other foods and he wanted something different and it was really good. And I had the fish and chips a couple of times and they were pretty good for not being, authentic from the UK pavilion or anything like that. But they were really good too.
Awesome. And
Yeah, I did the
Patricia's-
bison burger.
yeah, I guess it's
Yeah.
bison, not buffalo, but
We
or
knew what
maybe
you were
that's the
talking
right
about.
maybe that's the right term for it if it's food. I don't know.
Whatever. We knew what you were talking about.
Okay. But Patricia's saying when she goes back in December, she'll try the bison burger. She can't
You
wait.
must.
Mhm.
Yes.
And Grant says, my favorite, so relaxing, views of the lake, love the bison burgers.
Mhm.
And he was saying that he so misses the
Oh,
breakfast.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been down there for the breakfast, but I would imagine if they do serve it, that it's got to be pretty good because it's Disney breakfast. It's Mickey waffles and biscuits and eggs and bacon and that kind of fun stuff, right?
Mhm.
So in terms of the drinks, I know there is a hidden drink on the menu that is made with help me out here. It's the blue add-in. It's like very Instagrammable. the curacao. Is it?
Curacao.
Oh,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Blue
Yep.
curacao. Exactly.
It's called the Blue Mountain, and that's not on
Oh.
the menu, but it's one of their
Oh.
hidden specialties that you just got to go and know to go ask for.
Okay.
But the Northwest iced tea, really good. The Northwest berry punch, really good.
I'll try any of these.
Yeah. They had a cucumber and mint. It's not a mojito, it's like a vojito, which I'm not sure the difference thereof, but I can tell you that was pretty tasty and refreshing as well. So any of the specialty stuff that they had there, I really kind of liked. They have a Moscow Mule there that I didn't try because I'm not a beer guy.
Is it the
And-
black cherry mule?
Yes, the Black
I-
Cherry Mule. So
Yeah.
did you guys try that?
I did.
Yeah, we tried that also. We were surprised that it was not cherry colored, but I had heard that it's because the liquor isn't cherry colored. It's clear. But I liked it. Dan didn't care for it. So
Got it.
kind of drink his drink.
I liked it. And I asked him too. I'm like, are you sure this is the cherry one? Because I was expecting
Expecting a
something
red
red.
color.
something a little more colorful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, as well. So that pretty much wraps up Geyser Point. And Willie backs us up here and he goes, Geyser Point's my favorite bar on all property. And yes, it can hang right up there. Like I said, for me, it just recently got beat by Oga's, but it was number one until then. And it was probably still number two, tied right there with Trader Sam's. Okay. Because that is just a unique experience as well. So
That's fun.
yeah.
And I
think-
have to say, on our first day at Copper Creek, we had arrived fairly early on an early flight, and we got there just in time for lunch after riding the Magical Express over. So we hopped down to Geyser Point. We grabbed a table there right by the water, and just sitting there with the Bay Lake view, yummy food. It sold us. We were like, we made the right decision buying here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Well,
Yeah.
and then you used to be able to see the water parade
Mhm.
there, but it's not running now.
They'll come
Yeah, for some odd reason due to COVID, they took it down. I never really saw that many people standing around the beach to watch
Right.
the little
No.
water parade, but I mean, it was kind of like, oh, that's going, turn over and look, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it wasn't anything I would like flock down to the shoreline to see.
No. It
Okay.
was just cute when it was on. Yeah.
It's an
They'll
added
bring it back.
bonus. Yeah.
Yeah, but okay. So it's not there now. Maybe they cut it to save expenses.
Yeah.
Okay.
True. All
Fair
right.
enough.
The next topic is the lobbies. Wilderness Lodge, the Copper Creek and Boulder Ridge, they have separate lobbies, so we can discuss that.
Yeah. Well, they're separate lobbies, but it's the same resort. Okay.
Right.
So, you've got the phenomenal 7, 8-story, 9-story, maybe. I think I counted 9 if you really count the little last little ladder up to that crow's nest in the main Wilderness Lodge
So
lobby
impressive.
with the totem poles and the couple 1,000-pound. Jim Corcus and I did an interview where he gave us like the whole backstory of Wilderness Lodge. If you go back to mydvcpoints.com/005 and 006, I believe,
Mhm.
are those episodes. I'm working on 111, which will be Holly this week. So if that tells you how far back ago that was, we're talking 2 years ish. Okay.
Yeah.
But that content's still great today. Okay.
Mhm.
He'll give you all the backstory of that. And it is just breathtakingly beautiful, along with the little man-made geyser or little spring that's in
Mhm.
there.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's so cute. Yeah.
That is a nice little Imagineering trick that looks like it flows down into the pool.
Yep.
And then it kind of flows in from the pool into Bay Lake. And
Yeah.
I'll just leave it at that it's a little Imagineering spectacular thing. Magic that they bought for us or built for us, but no fish were harmed with chlorine water in this process.
True.
I can tell you that.
True. And then I got to share this. Holly sent this to me. I love this picture. This is my favorite picture of all of Wilderness Lodge right here. That chimney, that fireplace.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So-
that chimney is incredible. And Gina, you had some other pictures as well. I don't know. Feel free to show them or
Yeah,
or
I want
talk
to show
about
that one
them.
about the lobby. I have a Geyser Point, but I like the lobby, and here's another one of the lobby. So these are all Holly's pictures. She took
Oh,
some
okay.
photos.
And there's
Yeah.
that little like 9th floor that you can just see the
Yeah.
staircase going up to nowhere.
Yeah.
I don't know where it goes, but It's there.
So cool. Anyway, so I love the lobby of when you walk into the Wilderness Lodge. That lobby is just so breathtaking and it's so impressive.
And there's so many like little hidden nooks and crannies within the lobby, little fireplaces and rocking chairs and cozy little places to sit.
You can just sit and relax after a long day. Exactly.
And a pro tip as well, if you love the scent of Wilderness Lodge, my wife's been buying a kind of cleaner at Target called Method, and their bamboo version of it takes me straight back. That scent takes me straight back to the lobby at Wilderness Lodge. Okay. I'm not sure what scents are coming in there, but that's where my nose takes me back to. Okay.
Buy some.
So Method bamboo, and I asked her to buy it, and she goes, "Yeah, it's really hard to find because it's antibacterial." And that's like sold out everywhere now. And I'm like, "Well, if you can find it, get it, because that stuff is awesome." Okay. And then Patricia says she loves the hidden Mickey in the fireplace as well. And Grant was saying the Wilderness Lodge lobby is stunning. Nothing says welcome home like entering the main lobby. The Boulder Ridge lobby is cool too, more intimate, feels more exclusive to DVC and relaxing. And that is true as well. Okay. If you just need some time to get away from the family and just, kind of like, we're all crammed up in a studio, I just need a little elbow room, you can head down to that Boulder Ridge lobby because they've got the train station down there and like the full train museum. And you've got all kinds of little private nooks and crannies down in there to go hang out and chill out in and just relax.
Yep. I love that.
Yep. So, and then Mike was saying, Mike, this is true. We would be totally in the wrong for not talking about the Christmas tree and the Christmas decorations at Wilderness Lodge in the lobby. It is by far and large what most people consider the place to be at Christmas time, simply due to the wilderness, the greenery, that theme of just dovetails in with Christmas decorations. Just absolutely stunning, beautiful.
And I know that.
What's that? I mean, I know the gingerbread house is cool over at Grand Flow, and they do some ginger stuff over at the Beach Club and Yacht Club as well. But nothing really like hangs with that 9-story tall Christmas tree kind of a deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
When we go back in December, we had planned on trying out a different resort. We were going to do Animal Kingdom Lodge, but I was like, no, I want to see Christmas at Wilderness Lodge. We've yet to see it. So we're doing a split stay just to see Christmas.
That's
awesome.
On my bucket list. That's on my DVC bucket list. Dan Cockrell was talking about one of the nights they put up the tree. So I said, I got to find out that night and book that night.
Watch.
Yeah, that is true. We need to like get some 411 info there.
Yes.
And see that we can book that night, because that would be the fun night to just sit there and hang out on the lobby, because all 7 levels of the lobby, you can walk right up and just pull up a chair and camp out and watch. Okay. I think it'd be pretty fascinating to come back in and do that as well. I think he added that to everybody's bucket list.
And I was like, chat, got to do that. Yeah.
Yep. You haven't lived until you have done that one. Okay. So anything else on the lobbies here that we're missing?
I don't think so.
Okay.
All right. Moving all right along to the pools.
All right. When do you guys want to cover the pools?
I only stayed in the Boulder Ridge side pool. I've never been to the Copper Creek side pool.
I haven't done either of the pools.
Well, I'll go ahead, Gina. You can talk about
I was just going to say, I did love the Boulder Ridge pool. No people were there. Like you said, it's that 0 entry. There were hardly any, no kids, which I enjoy because I'm a school teacher. I need a break. So it was nice to have no children around. So that was great.
Yeah. Well, we, nothing in our family is quiet. So we did not go to the quiet pool. We opted for the larger pool. I didn't go down with them, but Dan took the 2 older kids and they went down and played in the pool. And the slide, Noah is 6 and Abby is 3, and the slide was perfect for them. It was actually a little too intense with Abby. She ended up going down backwards and I don't even head first into the water. But they had a lot of fun, and then they had the splash pad there. So I think the pool is perfect for little ones. It's pretty self-contained and everything's really close together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Now, I think it's called the Copper Creek Springs Pool.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay. And that's in the main, between the two forks of the resort. Okay. So, matter of fact, my room this last week was like right above this shoulder. Okay. Like right there and overlooking the pool. Okay. And I can tell you it is one of my favorite pools on property. It's not anywhere near the best. Okay. Because the slide is kind of meh, in my opinion. It's short. It doesn't have a really steep decline, but it's just, yeah, I wish it was longer. Okay. And then it dumps you out into about 3 feet of water there, which I like a little bit more water to come into because I hit the bottom every single time I come down that slide. Just like
Yeah.
it doesn't hurt, but you just know you're going to hit the bottom.
Yeah, I don't
Okay. But what I love about that pool is if you go swim around that little peninsula there, it gets to about 5 feet there, which is really unusual for a Disney pool to get to 5 feet deep. Okay. The only other pool I know on property that goes that deep would be over at Stormalong Bay. And that would be in the insanely deep, like 12 feet deep level of lazy river that they ended up
Wow.
creating there as a secondary thought. Okay. So I do like 5 feet of water because it comes up to about like right here. And that means, I can like fully submerge and like and kind of just float and not have to like just head above water. Okay. And still stand. So I love that part. I love the little ripple effect that comes down from that bridge. You get a nice little stream coming off the bridge that I just love it there. Okay. I love the pool.
And then you have a good view too from the pool of the geyser that goes off every hour. Like right there, right across the little walkway from it.
Yep. And then other part there. Now, did your kids play on the children's splash pad there, Holly?
They did. Yeah. They are suckers for splash pads wherever we go. They'd be happy with a splash pad over a pool any day. So yes, it entertained them very much.
It's pretty cool. The other thing I can tell you is that splash pad is heated as well, because I was really blown away when I was in January at Riviera. We normally go in July, August. And I got to tell you, it was like getting into boiling bath water. Okay. This last week, it was like sticky, icky, like, ooh, this is
Too warm.
a little too warm for me. Okay. So I didn't notice that the splash pads were, when I stayed at Copper Creek before, were heated. But when I noticed that they were heated at Riviera, I asked the staff over at Copper Creek and they're like, yep, we're heated too.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So it's really kind of cool for the little kids to get out there and play in the wintertime and get some warm water and be able to splash around. And it's got the big dump bucket there. It's got the little guns that you can shoot at mom and dad who are trying to stand at the side.
And a couple little slides. Yeah.
Yep, little slides for them there. So it's beyond adequate. It's downright cool for little kids.
And we appreciate it being heated because we normally travel December, January, February. So those are our travel months. So for it to be heated in the winter is good for our kiddos.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see. And you've got two whirlpool hot tubs there. Okay. Right. But right off of the splash pad and the pool. So that's kind of neat to be able to access as well. You got two of them there in case it gets crowded. On the Boulder Ridge Cove pool side, you still have another big one as well. And I think that pool goes to around 4 feet deep and it's pretty big. It's never all that crowded there.
Yeah, it was great. During COVID, it was great because there's probably 10 people in there.
Yeah. The other thing I can tell you is when the lifeguards get off duty, the main feature pool with the slide shuts down and they lock the gates. But historically, they weren't locking you out of the Boulder Ridge Cove pool. It has posted hours to like 11 at night, but they really weren't kicking you out if you wanted to go for a swim afterwards. So that was pretty cool as well. That's something else that I liked about it is you got a full size big pool. And then if you want to compare it to pools, it's slightly bigger than the Oasis pool over at Poly. And that has a 0 entry in it as well.
And the Catastrophe Canyon.
Yeah.
What is that? The Catastrophe Canyon. What is it called?
Crane.
Crane. Yeah. I'm like, you know what I'm talking about. The Catastrophe Canyon crane. Yeah.
Yep. So, and Linda just asked this question. I think we covered it, but I'll go back over it. She asked, does the Boulder Ridge side have a hot tub? And it sure does. And then it even has like this little TNT dynamite theme thing that you would think you push down on to start the hot tub. But actually, when you grab it to push down, it's like, oh, you look to push down and you go, oh, right behind it is the little knob to turn it on. I do that every time. I'm like, oh, it would be cool if the Imagineers made you go
Yes.
the little plunger and turn on the hot tub. Okay. And Mike said that they asked their 8-year-old to leave when playing with our 2 littlest at the splash pad because she is over 48 inches.
Oh.
So yes, they can enforce the height restriction on there as well. So, and I think that's going up on the tower part is where they really get persnickety. But if she was there going, hey, I'm here to watch my siblings, I think the cast members probably would have backed down a little bit.
Yeah.
But, she's 8. She doesn't know to give pushback like that. So
At least
I get it. Okay. I get it. So anything else here to say about the pools?
I'm good. I'm good on those. All right.
Okay.
Moving right along. On to recreation. What are the things you like to do when you're at Copper Creek? And I loved it because they had they had the Surrey bike. They had the boats you could rent. They had the pontoon and the jet boats. Those weren't going during COVID, but we had them the last time we were there.
Yeah.
You've also got fishing excursions out of that same dock as well. Now, I haven't done any of those yet because, well, I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm either at the pool or at Geyser Point. Okay. Or the pool, then Geyser Point, then back to the pool and back to Geyser Point. And okay, you guys get my drift. Okay.
Yeah.
But Jake was saying bass fishing is available there as well. And you're right on Bay Lake. So you have all of those Bay Lake amenities that goes with it. And it goes really well with that outdoorsy sportsman kind of a theme that you've got going on there as well. I know down at the end, there's some basketball courts and maybe some tennis courts down there. And
right on the backside of Geyser Point, like on the Bay Lake side, there was like a little patio that had like a foosball table and a ping pong table. And then there was cornhole, and our kids enjoyed that while they were waiting for food at Geyser Point, or we were just walking around and killing some time.
Yeah, that would be another fun thing to come back in and do. That's all there and it's readily available. And I don't believe any of that is pay to play in that area. Okay.
Great.
And I don't think it's an official DVC community hall. Okay. Because I don't think we have one here at Wilderness Lodge. It's one of the things that it lacks, but I don't think there's a lack of things to do. Okay.
Great.
Because you can, my gosh, we haven't got to transportation yet, but one of my favorite things is to ride the little boats around. Okay. Just go to Wilderness and over to Bay Lake Tower and Contemporary and hop the boats. Okay.
And pre-construction there for what was supposed to be Reflections, there was like the walking trails that would go over to Fort Wilderness. So, I mean, Fort Wilderness is also right next door, and you have the ranch there. And so, I mean, everything's so close to where you are.
And it seems like almost every time I'm on that path between Copper Creek and Fort Wilderness, I see at least one deer. Okay.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if they like plant them there or they're like, animatronics because they're so regular for me or what, but I see a deer and it looks real to me. Okay. I'll give them that. Right. I'm not going to put anything past WDI. Okay. Grant was saying that he really likes the fire pit with s'mores. Reunion Station is super nice. They did an animation class there, which was great. Community Hall is still trying to find its place in the resort, but lots of potential.
Yeah.
And so, let's just transition over there as well. Okay. That Reunion Station, it's a little building that DVC owns, and it's a DVC owned building. The resort doesn't technically own it. The Vacation Club Sales and Management, DVD, owns it, Vacation Development. And so they have restricted most of the programs in there to people with a blue card. And I know Reagan and I did the animation class, like I think Grant mentioned, and then we did a cake decorating class in there. And so I would encourage everybody with a blue card to look and see if they offer something there. And if they do, sign up for it, because they're kind of struggling to fill those. And they just don't have a really good media advertising presence there. Okay. They needed they need to like bring us down and let us do a live show from it and podcast and get the word out, because it was incredibly cool stuff. Then they tried the Super Bowl or the Sunday night football parties there, and that didn't really fly as well because it was like $50-$60 and it includes some hors d'oeuvres and appetizers, and that didn't take.
I wanted to go to that. We were there in October, but nobody else wanted to go, and I was like, I don't want to spend the money on that, so I ended up not going.
Got it.
Now, were the animation classes and cake decorating, were those an additional fee, or you just had to sign up for them?
Yeah, they were probably $50 or $80, something like that. The cake decorating class was worth it. Well, they were both really worth it. Okay.
Yeah.
But Reagan still uses tricks and techniques and making stuff today that we did that class with.
Wow.
Oh, fine.
And they wouldn't let a 13-year-old take it by herself. So I had to accompany her and then pay for my own.
Yeah.
And she completely destroyed me in cake decorating. So, it's also her hobby and her jam. So
Right.
I would hope she would, because I'm not that great. Okay. But the other thing they had there was they had like a speakeasy smoked whiskey tasting. Okay. Which really sounded interesting once I realized that they actually do smoke whiskey. Like it goes into a smoker, like the barbecue stuff and like hardwood smoked chips. And it just adds another level of complexity. I would have tried that had I been there when it was going on.
Yeah.
So all kinds of cool activities there. At the past, they tried to do a club level access there where you paid $50 per day per person. And it just didn't take, because they realized the popularity of club level over in Animal Kingdom and tried to replicate it somehow, but it just didn't quite take. Okay. So that kind of went away. And I think if you see something offered there, jump on it, take them up on it, because it'll be a great activity. And I know they need it to like keep offering those great services to members. And I'm all for that as well. Anything else here on recreation, Gina?
I think the gym, the Sturdy Branches gym would be recreation for some people.
Okay.
Yeah. Shannon can talk about that.
I did get to go there. I'm not normally a person to work out when I go on vacation, but we were there during COVID and they had some pool time and I had some free time and my gym was doing a Zoom class. So I took my laptop down to the gym and had the whole place to myself. It was nobody else. There were a couple people that walked through, but they have everything there that you would need: an elliptical, a treadmill, all your free weights, a barbell. It was fantastic, and it was the perfect spot to get my.
Yeah, and that's pretty unique as well in DVC, because not very many recreation facilities have full free weights with barbells. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to do deadlifts or anything along those lines, you've got the bar to do it with. If you wanted to do non-machine bench presses, you could probably do it. I don't know that I'd recommend it because you don't have the cage there. Okay. But you had a full barbell and free weights there to do with it as you so desired, which is pretty darn cool. Okay. And Grant is sitting here saying that the gym is very respectable.
Good.
And that comes from a doctor. So I would take his
Yes.
his word on that one as well.
Absolutely.
And
I'm a physical therapist too. So
yeah, there you go.
it worked for me.
Yep. And Grant said back at Reunion, they also have a phone photo class that was incredibly popular. They had two different instructors that were teaching it, and they both taught slightly different content in slightly different ways. And I have heard both of them are phenomenal. You should sign up for both of them. So if that comes back, jump on that.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to be staying at Wilderness Lodge or Boulder Ridge to take those classes. Okay. If you're a Blue Card member and staying anywhere, you can sign up for it. And even if you're off property, they might let you still take that class as a Blue Card member. Okay.
That's great.
So very, very, very cool stuff there as well. David points out the store at Fort Wilderness is awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, sneaking over to Fort Wilderness is one of my favorite things to do there as well, especially when Hoop is up and running and you take that little boat. Okay. Yeah. So Gina, what's next? Should we hit transportation or?
Yeah. Yes, we can. There we go.
Okay.
Transportation. The best.
Okay. Yeah. So Gina, you want to cover this one?
Yes. So the transportation that I enjoy the most are the boats that take that you were talking about, that take you from Wilderness Lodge to Magic Kingdom, which is great during COVID. And I thoroughly enjoyed that. That was great. We didn't have to fight the traffic at the TTC or any of that. And then the other boat takes you to Contemporary and Fort Wilderness. And I did that tour by accident. I left my phone at Top of the World Lounge and I got a free tour. So I got but the captains were really great and they told me a bunch of stuff and about their lives and working for Disney and how to become a captain. So I learned a lot on my tours. Yeah.
And there's actually 2 boats that make that triangle and they reverse directions.
Yeah.
So one goes from, over to the Contemporary, then to Fort Wilderness, then back to Wilderness. And then the other one goes from Wilderness to Fort Wilderness to Contemporary and back. Okay. So non-COVID times, they're both running. Now I don't believe any of them are running.
They weren't. No, they weren't. Just the one to Magic Kingdom during COVID.
Just the one to Magic Kingdom as well. And then there you've got the buses as well. And the buses are right in front of the Boulder Ridge building. But pro tip, if you come down the right stairways at Copper Creek, they're right there as well. Because you can come down a stairways that'll put you out right towards the Boulder Ridge building and boom, you're there.
Or even if you have a room near the elevator at Copper Creek, you pop down that main elevator and right out the door there by the Mercantile and just not that far away.
It's right there. The thing that I find challenging there or frustrating is the boats close down anytime there's lightning around. Okay. It's like the story with all alternative Disney transportation.
Right.
There's lightning, they're shutting them down.
Yeah.
Okay. And when you're trying to get to Magic Kingdom, there's times when the bus station will say, take the boats because we're only doing boats. And then you get down there to the boats and they're not running because of lightning. So then you got to hoof it all the way back up to the bus, which still says take the boats. So it's like, wait a minute here. And I've spent an hour and a half trying to get to Magic Kingdom there before. Yeah. So that's my one knock on their system is I wish they were a little bit more coordinated back and forth. So you're not ping pong between the two.
Yeah.
And I always feel like I'm like 20 feet away from walking up to their takes off the boat or their takes off the bus that you are.
And then 20 minutes. Right.
It's at least. Okay.
Yeah.
Or more because they've been shutting them down. Right. Yeah. So, I mean, go ahead, Holly.
Sorry, I was just going to say another bonus about the boats is as a family with littles and we have our giant double stroller. If you get on the right boat to Magic Kingdom, usually the boats to Magic Kingdom, you don't have to break down your stroller if it's not terribly busy and you can kind of just let it ride. It's kind of like getting on the monorail at a monorail resort and you don't have to break it down.
That's great.
And also sometimes the boats to Magic Kingdom don't run very far in advance of park opening. This was pre-COVID. So we would take the boat to the Contemporary, take the little boat to the Contemporary, and then walk over to Magic Kingdom. Like if we had a pre-park opening breakfast or we just wanted to be there before the boat started running. So you had multiple options on the boats.
Yeah, that is true. That is true as well. So Patricia was saying that she loves the boats, so easy and convenient. Plus the exit from Magic Kingdom was no walking to buses and waiting. And that is no joke, 100% gospel truth. The fastest way out of Magic Kingdom at night after the fireworks is the Wilderness Lodge boat. Okay, because A, it's huge. B, there's not a huge demand for it. And you can pretty much walk right on to the next boat. Whereas everybody else is waiting for 3 or 4 buses or 5 or 6 monorails. Okay. And you can just be out of there like that. Okay. From Magic Kingdom fireworks.
And coming over to Magic Kingdom, typically the boats aren't super packed. And then getting through security is like easy peasy because you have your little security stand right there at the boat launch when you get off the boat. So easy.
Yeah. It really is. I mean, when the boats are up and running, I think it can hang with the monorails in terms of how easy and beautiful and pleasant and relaxing. Okay.
I love the boats. Yeah.
Because you get to ride right by half of the cabins.
Yes.
Okay.
which takes us to the rooms. I think that was a good
segue.
Got it. So who wants to run down of room comparisons for which side?
I can run down Copper Creek.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so Copper Creek has, they have studios and 1 bedrooms. They both sleep 4. Their 2 bedrooms sleep 8. They have the 3-bedroom grand villa that sleeps 12, and then the cabins that are 2 bedroom, 2 bath, and they sleep 8. And what I noticed after we bought in is that basically because they're converted hotel rooms, they're a little bit smaller on the smaller side, square footage wise, compared to a lot of the other DVC rooms that were built as DVC rooms. So like the thing that kind of hurts us a little bit is that we're a family of 5 right now. Our youngest is still, in the crib, so we can still sneak into those 4 occupant rooms. But once he ages up to 3, we're going to have to move up to 2 bedrooms or, flip over to the Boulder Ridge side. Hopefully they'll be through their refurb by then. But that's really my only negative about the entire resort is that their studios and 1 bedrooms only sleep 4.
Yeah, and then I'm not a huge fan of the galley style kitchen and the 1 and the 2 bedrooms.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really hard to navigate. When we did a podcast review of this, I think episodes 7 and 8, you go back to mydvcpoints.com/007 and 008. You can hear our full review of that at the time, back when they were brand spanking new.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. So it has the like alley style kitchen, whereas Boulder Ridge has the more galley style. So yeah, it's just like the one
Yep.
little lane.
And
then, sorry.
Well, it's just really hard to get back to that studio side bedroom.
Right.
Mm.
You have to
And
walk through. Yeah.
It's a high traffic area. Like you just.
It's a really high traffic area. If anybody's doing the dishes, if anybody is getting something out of the fridge, if you open the dishwasher, if you do any of that, you can't get through it. Now they fixed it at Riviera. They made that hallway wider and you can easily get around people. Okay. But it's the same style there at Riviera, but they just fixed that issue. Okay.
Yep.
Which was wonderful.
Smart. Yeah.
And then Holly, my family's right there with you. We're a family of 5, and that just throws us into 2-bedroom land. And then when you go to 2-bedroom, we can't bring a family of 4 with us because that would put us at 9. So that's the one downside to those Copper Creek rooms. Okay. I've stayed in the 3-bedroom. It is beyond spacious. It is, you feel like it is so ostentatious that you feel guilty. There's so much room when you compare it to like the studios. Okay.
Yeah. We crammed in.
And then of course the cabins are on everybody's bucket list because we just what they got wrong at the poly bungalows, they fixed and nailed at the Copper Creek cabins. Okay. And so Grant's backing me up here. He says the cabins are life-changing. These are some of the nicest accommodations I have ever stayed in. So relaxing with your own hot tub overlooking the lake and electric parade. After staying here, Adonitis hit hard, so I could stay here more often. Game changer.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. It is on our bucket list to bank, borrow, and do everything we can one year to stay there either Thanksgiving or Christmas when it's fully decorated for at the cabins.
That'd be great.
I would consider buying just for the cat.
Yes.
I said
There
it.
you go, Shannon.
I said it.
Yep. There you go. Right?
You're gonna need a lot of points though.
I know.
It's only
And-
80 per night.
Yeah. So Mike says, you think they'll ever add the fold down bed to fit 5, family of here 2? And I think the answer to that is no, due to fire code in square footage per people. That's the original issue that I was told when they built it. And unless they change fire code standards, they could not figure out how to do that when they built it.
Yeah.
And that was very intentional because they had already started the whole Sleeps 5 movement. Okay. Which is still rather new. From what I understand, that's only like 5 or 6 years old in DVC.
Okay.
Okay. But this was well underway when they built this. And that was one of the big hangups people had at buying Copper Creek was that lack of 5th person.
Yeah.
And then Patricia says she hates the 7th floor room because of the balcony. If sitting, you can't see. And that also applies to the 6th floor rooms on this wing right behind me, right up here. You can see them in the little photo there. That's the balcony. And it's really bad because like this right here is the balcony for like the studio side, and the kitchen side is over here, and they don't connect because of that little deal. Whereas I know when I did the podcast show, Shelby was saying his was on the 5th floor and he could just walk outside to get around the galley style kitchen.
Yeah, that's what we were on the 5th floor in a 1-bedroom, and it was the same with us. Ours were connecting balconies.
Yeah. I will tell you this as well. If you go right behind my thumb here and you can get one of those 5th floor rooms
That's
that
where
are
we were.
overlooking the Copper Creek pool.
That's where we were. Mhm.
Yeah. You can see Magic Kingdom fireworks at night.
Mhm.
Okay. And that's a pretty cool view over the lodge. And if somebody said what was the best room choice to get there,
Those.
that would be the ones. And it's ironic that my actual deed comes from rooms right here at the end of the hall. When you look it up on the map, I'm that geeky. Okay. I admit it. Right. I've looked up where my rooms were, where, you know, we might own a light switch cover. Okay. And it's someplace in there in one of those 5th floor, really cool firework view rooms, what I consider the most desirable, because they're right there at the end by the Grand Villas. And the Grand Villas are all at the very end here, and they're overlooking the lake. Okay.
And you can see when they start it back up, the water pageant from there too. So you don't, if you have kids that are asleep and you can't go down and watch it from Geyser Point, you can just watch it right from your balcony.
Yeah, which is really cool. And then Shannon makes a comment that we had issues with the boats at Copper Creek in July. The social distancing didn't allow too many people to fit in the boat, and we had to wait for a second one several times. And they only had one boat running, so this often took 45 minutes. The bus was quicker.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but the bus still only allows like 5 or 6 families at a time as well
Yeah.
during social distancing. So yeah, I could see where at rope drop that could be a pretty crowded thing to go do. And you could run into some issues there. Again, I think that's more of a COVID deal. And hopefully that tends to go away, because I do know they run multiple buses when they're all up and running full speed. Okay. Or multiple boats, so to speak. Okay.
Should we move to our crowd.live/wilderness?
Well, let's come back in and finish the Boulder Ridge side.
Oh,
Okay.
oh yeah.
So-
I forgot. I forgot about
We
those
just love
rooms.
Copper Creek so much.
Yes.
Yeah, but we gotta
We have to
do
give Boulder Ridge. We do
Right.
have to give Boulder Ridge
Yes.
its due, because they sleep 5.
Yes,
Yes.
I agree.
Sleeps 5, and that's fabulous. I do enjoy having that
Yes.
fold down cubby. Yeah.
the Boulder Ridge side. If you've ever stayed at Boardwalk, Beach Club, or Saratoga, it is the same exact room floor plan for all of those resorts, minus a couple of inches of square footage here and there. Okay. But it is the same essential floor plan. And so they were able to put the Murphy beds into the studios there when they did their last upgrade in refurb. And those were incredibly successful and very well received. Okay. So the Murphy beds there, really cool. The 1-bedrooms, it does not have the fold out chair, but you are allowed to bring your own bedding, and sleep 5 there. And if you get a 2-bedroom lock off, okay, you will be able to come back in and put 9 people in there, because you'll get the Murphy bed.
Right.
If you do the dedicated 2 people, you have to bring your own bedding, because they didn't add the Murphy bed to the dedicated room.
Just do what we
Yep.
did and buy a thermarest. We have a thermarest in our locker, and that's it. And that thermarest is always with us.
Got it.
So we have
And
that.
so the other thing there is you only have 3 room choices. You have studios, you have 1-bedrooms, and you have 2-bedrooms.
Yeah.
And from what I understand from people, the top desired, most requested, desirable rooms there are on the 5th floor in the center by the lobby, because they're oddly shaped. And you also get the cathedral style ceiling in that top level floor as well. So that is your premium insider, DVC member insider knowledge tip there for a room request at Boulder Ridge. Okay.
Now we know, because we were at the very end.
And we had a bigger room. We had a bigger room, and we had the thatched roof. So that was worth it.
Yep. So there you go. Okay. And I think that pretty well covers it. I know we're going a little bit late tonight, which I knew we would, but so I think we're ready for our crowd perks. If anybody's
Okay.
left that's still watching. So we will go to crowd.live/wilderness.
And let me make that a ticker.
Okay. And once you get there, you should put a screen name in. We don't really use that, but then you can come back in and put an email address in. and then we will start a poll. And Gina, we actually left the artwork up last time from Animal
Oh,
Kingdom.
whoops. Darn it. Darn it. I thought I was so on top of it this morning. Okay.
But our poll today is 2 questions long, okay? And the first question is, based on what we've told you so far, which resort would you book if you had both available? Would you go the Boulder Ridge side or would you go the Copper Creek side? The other difference is you can see the Copper Creek side is attached to the main lobby outside of the cabins. So it's still attached to the main hotel. The Boulder Ridge side is disconnected, but it has a covered walkway across to it. And some people don't like the open airness, the no sides on that roof. Okay. They want a completely enclosed way to go get their morning coffee. For mug refills, it is a longer walk from Boulder Ridge side to get down to Roaring Fork. Although the Boulder Ridge people could go to Geyser Point, and there's a mug refill out there as well. So into our crowd now, if you want to take our little poll, where would you stay? Gina,
Well, I think you
ready?
also have to talk about like the furnishings at Copper Creek. They are just like beyond fabulous
Yes.
compared to, you know, Boulder Ridge
The
is
older.
the older needing refurb, but Copper Creek is just, it almost seems brand new still, even though it's, 4 years old. Just beautiful.
And the one thing I'll say about Copper Creek, I have never seen so many little storage cubbies in my entire life.
They stick them in everywhere.
Like under the bench, under the this. Every time you turn around, there's a storage cubby.
Which I did
Okay.
enjoy. Yeah, I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah. So if you're unpacking and live out of the amenities of the room, you're gonna love it there.
Yeah.
However, when you get ready to pack your stuff up, our kid's
Everywhere.
job is to make sure we didn't leave anything, and they're gonna be searching for a long time to go through all of those cubbies.
Yep.
So okay, so do you want to kick off that voting,
Yep.
Gina?
I'm ready to start. Yep. I'm going to start right now.
Okay.
Okay. Here we go.
So we will come back in and vote online. And I guess I have to hit accept to the cookies before it'll let me vote. Or maybe not. I see it. There we go.
I had to push 2 buttons.
Okay, cool. So, yep, that is now going on there. And Copper Creek, crowd.live/wilderness. We probably should have started this a little bit earlier. So we'll see how people are coming back in. I'm not logged into the voting engine, Gina, so I'll just have to allow you to control that and
Okay.
see when it's time to come back in. And
Let me look.
David says, I need a choice that says both. And
Yeah.
no, you have to assume they're both available,
Wow.
David. You have to assume they're both available. And then while we're doing that, I'll start off the next conversation. And the next one will be, we'll give people a chance to vote. Next one would be, where would you buy? Okay. Because that's the other big thing. You've got I believe 2057 expiration date for Copper Creek.
68.
2068.
Yeah.
68. Okay. I knew it opened in 2017. So,
Yeah.
but 2068 is the final year there versus 2042 over at Boulder Ridge. So you've got 26 more years of life over at Copper Creek. And last I looked, they're going in the 150s to 160s now.
Mm-hmm.
And then Boulder Ridge was down around the 110 mark.
Yeah.
And dues on them, Copper Creek was slightly more expensive, but Copper Creek is not going up because I think they really jacked up the dues at the beginning because they got so tired of DVC members complaining that you artificially decreased the dues. And so they said, okay, we'll artificially increase the dues. And now everybody else is kind of catching up to Copper Creek, and it's been having very modest increases. So the dues are pretty close, but I think Copper Creek's a little bit more expensive.
Yeah. A few cents. I don't think it's more than a few cents.
I don't think it's significant
No.
anymore.
No,
Okay.
it's a few cents difference. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Copper Creek was up there at the top, and since then it has been coming down the pack in terms
Yeah.
of dues. Okay. So that's really your 2 deal. And then if you own there, you get a choice of 5 rooms over at Copper Creek. Granted, they only sleep 4 or 8. Okay. Or 12 if you go to the Grand Villa. But if you go to Boulder Ridge side, you get 3 options, but you get the extra people.
Yeah.
So Let's come back in and see how people are doing, Gina, on Crowd
Okay.
Live.
It
And I'm going to come in and I guess I probably should log
bring
into
up your
this so I
screen.
can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like Copper Creek is winning.
Mhm.
Boulder Ridge has 29% and Copper Creek has 71%. So that's people would rather stay at Copper Creek.
Okay, and let me come back in, bring up my projector view, and I can share this tab really quick. I hope.
I hope. We hope.
And I'll either do that or I'll share how I voted because I can't tell the difference on the screen. It's a weakness of their software. Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Yes. I got the right screen, I think.
There we go.
Yep. Yeah.
There we go.
I had a 50-50 chance there. So where would you stay? 71% are voting Copper Creek. So let's go ahead and close that out and move over. And by the way, this is my official vote here. We forgot to do our own votes
Oh yeah,
as well.
Copper Creek. Copper Creek.
Copper Creek.
All right,
And
question
then-
two.
Unanimous.
And then
There we
I
go.
have to use my fancy schmancy little deal here. I am Team Copper Creek on where would I stay? And then the next question is, where would you buy? Okay.
Can't click it.
Oh, I have to push the button. Sorry. There we go. Thank you.
Okay.
Now I can.
And so right now we're seeing the votes come in live. It's 100% Copper Creek. I think that 2068 expiration date is looking pretty dang attractive.
Yep.
But Boulder Ridge got some votes, at least one. It's getting some love there as well. So let me come back in and we'll check back in on that for a little bit. And when I bought, I ended up buying there because of the 50 years.
Mhm.
I bought it in 2017 when it had full 50 years on it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we ended up deciding that we wanted more direct points just in case we ever wanted to do a member cruise, because we did buy the vast majority of our points resale, but we picked up enough at Copper Creek and some poly to go with it that we could do that. And I'm now at a point where, because I bought 50-point contracts that are small, I could probably sell them for what I paid for them or slightly more.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're actually going up. Yeah, I was looking at that.
And the market is really going up on Copper Creek right now, like you wouldn't believe. I'm a little shocked at that it's
Yeah.
happening so fast.
Mhm.
The secret is out on Wilderness Lodge.
It is.
I think
It is.
so. And I think that the issue here is Riviera resales. Okay.
Mhm.
I think those Riviera resales are making these contracts even more attractive because you still have that very long length of life, but your resale buyer is not going to face those restrictions.
Don't
Or
have
if
the
you're
restrictions.
buying it resale,
Right.
you've still got 14 great choices.
Mhm.
Okay.
Exactly.
And you've still got the same 14 great choices if you buy Boulder Ridge as well.
Yep.
So we'll kind of take that and then let's check back in here, Gina, and see how the crowd's doing on this one.
Alrighty. And
And-
it looks like they're done voting, so you can post.
And 93%
Wow.
are saying buy Copper Creek.
Mhm.
And I know, was it like 220 a point now direct? It's insane.
It's
Something
so
like that, yeah.
expensive. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yep.
Mike was saying that we own both at direct. We own both direct and resale at Copper Creek.
Mhm.
And Vicky was saying, I have an alert for resale at Boulder Ridge.
Yep.
Vicky's trying to pick herself up a deal. And I don't blame you there, Vicky, as well. And Patricia asked this question: am I sitting in a cabin? No.
Oh, you gotta do your Copper
So-
Creek.
oh
You gotta
yes.
do-
So, here's my vote for where I would own. Obviously, I'll take down her comment, but it's because when I did my vote, I changed the green screen
And now
back
you're in-
to
Okay.
there. And yes,
I'm
I am
Copper Creek.
sitting in the hot tub. I guess if I have to come over to the sides, you can
Yeah.
see the hot tub, right?
Yep,
Yes,
there it
I
is.
am. I picked the photo that's going to allow me to sit in the hot tub on my green screen. And yes, that is very representative of my vote and my future plans. Okay. So I'll come back into this and we'll get everybody else back. Just to wrap that up again, we had 93% saying they would buy Copper Creek over Boulder Ridge. That doesn't shock me,
No.
but there's a lot less points available over there at Boulder Ridge as well. So that's why that resale is doing pretty well. I will say this, the downside to owning Copper Creek, everybody buys there because they want to do the 11-month booking at the Christmas season. And it is the whole month of December is
hard to get.
incredibly difficult to book as an owner at the 11-month mark. And we did a study on it way back when in a Copper Creek group of about 3,000 members. And the answer really was quite surprising. It came out that like 64% of the people in the group, now this was 3,000 plus people, right? So, and I think we probably had 400 or 500 of them voting. Okay. But like in the upper, like 68% or something like that said they bought with the intention of staying in a studio. And of maximum inventory, only 47% of the points are allocated to studios. So you have a lot more people buying in there wanting to do there than buying in saying, I'm going to be the 11-month booker of those cabins. Okay. So that's kind of why it's a little bit difficult to book a studio there. Yeah. But I think if you're fine with that, it's a phenomenal resort.
Yeah. I know we are staying in a studio in December just to kind of stretch our points a little further. We're staying in a studio in Copper Creek and a 1-bedroom at Animal Kingdom. And I was on it 11 months and we were going to try to go the first week of December and I couldn't get anything the first week of December. So we moved down to the second week of December.
You just kept trying until you got something, huh?
Yep.
Got it. Wow. That's a pretty good trick. And might have to walk a little bit too if you're familiar with those terms in order to get that room accommodation that you're looking for. Yeah. But it's even hard there as well because you got to come back in and find an opening to start walking. Okay. Yeah. Which I know some people will start back in October. Okay. To be able to get Christmas. They do that. They do that for club level rooms at Animal Kingdom. Yeah. And so you've got to, like March is what I'm calling it now is the next technique, which means you walk behind the walker. Okay. Because they're only walking 7 days. Yeah. So if you walk behind the walkers, you can kind of come back in and do that. And I'm calling that marching. Okay. For lack of better terms. Yeah.
As they let it go, you pick it up.
Yeah.
Yep. But any final comments tonight, Gina? Sign offs here.
I'm in, this is my love letter to Wilderness Lodge. I'm so happy I bought Copper Creek and I'm so happy with my choice.
Absolutely. Yeah. Shannon?
Yeah, I'm ready to buy. Maybe.
Maybe.
Got it.
Copper Creek though would definitely be Copper Creek.
Got it. And Holly?
Well, Wilderness Lodge was our first foray into the deluxe resorts. And I am so glad that we bought at Copper Creek and we get to spend many, many more vacations there.
Awesome. And it is by far one of my favorite resorts. So if I were to just say, what's the favorite resort all around, it would have to be Wilderness Lodge. Mm-hmm. The pool at Beach Club is pretty spectacular, but I think that's about all Beach Club has going for it. I couldn't rave on everything the way I did all the way down the lines at Copper Creek. Yeah. And so we're now looking at selling off some contracts and it's like, don't even think of selling the Copper Creek stuff. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. So that's my take on that. And everybody, thanks for tuning in as well. We will be back next week. And Gina, do we have our topic lined up yet?
If we're doing the shootout, it's the beaches. We have Hilton Head versus Vero. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I think we might hold off on that one for a little bit. That's our last one to come.
Last one, yeah. So I don't know then. We'll have to figure out some news.
If you guys have a topic, go ahead and post down here below that you want us to talk about next week, or post in the My DVC Points community group. And thanks everybody for tuning in. I also have to do a huge shout out and thank you to our sponsor, DVC Resale Market. If you decided to buy either of these contracts, head on over to dvcresalemarket.com. And I'm sure you'll find some great listings. And I know the guides there. We have them on the podcast on a monthly basis on a rotating deal. This last week, you heard from Nick, one of the founders of it. If you've been listening to the podcast from the traditional My DVC Points podcast, they're an incredible group of people. And thanks everybody for tuning in. And I hope if you do business with them, do us the favor of a shout out and let them know you heard about them here on the My DVC Points platform. Thanks everybody. Have a great night. And I am going to now roll a brand new world premiere sign-off video that is also a huge shout out to all of our Patreons as well. So good night, everybody.
Night.